Thank you LEGO for sending this set for review. After way too many years since the last releases, Pirates of the Caribbean are back in LEGO form for some reason, bringing us one of the most iconic ships of the well-known franchise, Captain Jack Sparrow's pirate ship? That can't be right. Let me look at the instructions. No? No? Well, there is no mention of the actual ship's name anywhere that we all know to be Black Pearl. Yet for some reason LEGO just decided to call it Jack Sparrow's pirate ship. Is it the Slave One thing all over again? Wonder what's up with that. The minifigure lineup on the other hand looks on point, with characters named what they actually should. 8 in total, or 9 if you consider the ship's figurehead. Our favorite pirate, Captain Jack Sparrow, is the star here, with impressive printed details all around, including leg printing and details on the molded hair/head combo, front and back. Captain Barbossa follows suit with the level of detail, including a new hat with hairpiece I don't think I've ever seen before. The headpiece though feels kinda odd to me, as I don't get the sense that this is an old guy the same way we get to see him in the movies. Next up is Elizabeth Swann with her two-piece dress going on, which leads us to the less detailed minifigures in the lot that don't feature leg printing. William Turner with his hairdo and beard features is instantly recognizable. Jack Sparrow's first mate, Gibbs, had to be showcased as well, and the last three characters are kind of okay. Cotton, the mute pirate, has his parrot do all the talking he needs, Marty, funnily enough, always carrying a weapon way too big for his stature, and finally Anna Maria. An odd inclusion, if you ask me, considering her minor role in just one of the 5 movies. These 3 could easily have been replaced by Pintel and Raggedy, Davy Jones, or even Will's father, Bootstrap Bill. Regardless of my thoughts on these, the selection is great nonetheless, and all have their weapons and some items to hold. Barbossa with his beloved apples, Elizabeth with a piece of the cursed Aztec gold, and Jack with his trusty compass. With the minifigures out of the way, let's take a look at the Black Pearl or Jack Sparrow's pirate ship, and while I don't really care for the LEGO Pirates theme in general, or pirate ships at all, even though I am a big fan of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, this thing looks seriously impressive. The all-black look, while screen-accurate, might turn off some people who aren't into the franchise, but the way the hull was done will provide custom builders with a perfect blueprint to recolor these in more standard-looking pirate ship colors for their displays. I personally am a sucker for great builds, and this thing was a joy to put together, especially the stern section and how all of these different angles come together flawlessly with almost no gaps in between them, a true work of art. And it doesn't stop there, because despite the display nature of the model, it hides a few play functions in plain sight. A pair of gears in the back will deploy the ship's cannons on either side of the ship, opening their respective gun ports. These are not actual minifigure cannon elements, sadly, but brick-built ones that won't shoot anything out of them. I do like the trade-off, and once again, seeing the simple yet effective mechanism come to life in the early stages of the build was very enjoyable to put together. But wait, there's more! The rudder is usually controlled by the ship's wheel, and as you're kind of guessing, it does work in here as well, in an incredibly clever way, where the actual element turns the Technic assembly underneath, where deeper inside the rudder is turned sideways like this. You can split part of the rudder because through most of the build you'll be building the set on top of these LEGO hull pieces for stability. Much later, after you're done with 90% of the ship, are you then tasked of building the underside with fixed stands. Again, pretty cool solution if you'd like to have it displayed somewhere else as if it were sailing on water. The bow of the ship features the sand green figurehead minifigure next to some weirdly angled sections that flow nicely into the shape of it all, with the 2 ship's anchors nearby just resting in their designated spots. On the deck we can see a simple rowboat, and below it the cargo hatch that you can lift, which ends up revealing some cannons and a treasure chest. Nearby the capstan actually spins, though it isn't functional in the way that it isn't used to hoist ropes or anchors in the model. Further back, these doors, which should lead to the captain's quarters, are in fact a storage space for some bottles, probably rum, though LEGO would never tell that officially. These smartly angled stairs lead to the ship's wheel I've talked about before, and this entire upper deck above the captain's quarters is angled, featuring the 3 lampposts at its back, but otherwise quite empty. Too many angles here to list, but one of the building techniques I loved the most was how perfectly these mudguard car element tips around the window go inside the holes of the black ice cream cones, not allowing them to move at all. This whole section comes off in one piece so that we can access the captain's quarters, a simple room with a table, lots of candles, food, and pirate maps. And finally, these sails. We get 10 pieces of cloth-like material with different holes and cutouts mounted on weirdly structured masts that were done in different sections. But knowing the designer of this set, this has got to be somehow nautically correct. No crow's nest on this one, but there are some platforms with jumper plates for minifigures to be placed, and standing 64 centimeters tall or 25 inches for our American friends, we find the Jolly Roger flag, done in the same material as the sails. Like I said before, I don't care much about pirates and pirate ships. My liking of Pirates of the Caribbean does not reflect into LEGO at all. But I gotta give it to LEGO, this thing is both seriously impressive, looks-wise, even though the all-black color scheme, while screen accurate, puts me off a little, and turned out to be a surprisingly fun build to put together, one of the best ones of the year if I may be so bold. Kinda dwarfs recent pirate ships, except for the endurance in length at least, as its height in masts and sails can't be beat. Now imagine a scenario where LEGO, instead of doing an IP-based pirate ship, did a plain pirate one in the exact same style, with standard-looking color scheme with brown hull, white flag, still catering for adults with the 18+ age marking. Fans at a much broader scale would be all over it, especially because the pricing would have been way more appealing. The IP comes with royalties that need to be paid, I feel, therefore inflating the retail price of the Captain Jack Sparrow's pirate ship. And so, without further ado, I do regret to inform you all that this 2,860-piece LEGO set will retail for $380. Let that sink in for a bit. Just the other day I was taken aback by how crazy Hogsmeade Village was priced, and 2 days later here I am coming to the same conclusion with this one. I could defend the pricing by stating that the set does have 9 minifigures and the 10 sail pieces that are very costly to produce, but then, I don't know if you all remember the LEGO Endurance from last year, no minifigures and no IP license as far as I'm aware, and apart from that, is at the end of the day a very similar model. Ship LEGO set with a similar piece count of 3,000 pieces and the expensive to produce strings and sails. The big difference is its retail price of $270. $380, $270. Let's leave it at that. I love the building experience that this provided me, and I can see it as a great LEGO set all things considered, but I flat out dislike the price, and considering a portfolio where LEGO offers so much variety of things, themes, and prices, they hurt themselves by outpricing potential customers into buying the cheaper and better valued sets, or not buying anything at all. But I'm no marketing specialist, so yeah, I'll stop yapping now. Me thanks for keeping a weather eye, and I'll be spying you again on the next voyage. Rawr.